Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. It is another lovely day here in the Ozarks. The sun is shining. It's supposed to be pretty warm this afternoon, getting the humidity in for the year. And we've got some more updates on our path to collapse, which is what it appears to be. I think we're at a point now that they're just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. They know that they've got to stay in power. They know that they've got to control this thing. They know that more and more people like you are starting to wake up to the lies and to what's really going on. And so they've got to just create enough calamity to keep people distracted on what's really happening. Yesterday I did a video, if you missed it, talking about the H5N1, kind of giving you some updates on the bird flu, of what was going on and how it does seem to be progressing into the next pandemic. And just shortly after me releasing that video, news broke that a man had died in Mexico from the H5N1. It was the first known death of a human transfer, meaning that they're saying that they have no evidence that this guy had any interaction with an animal that could have, contracted it from this animal. So they believe it's a human-to-human transmission. He died of it. They're saying that the H5N1 has now fully mutated to where it's susceptible to humans. Now, some of the facts to this were that the guy had been sick for 3 weeks. He'd been bedridden. He was very ill, had a lot of other medical problems, those comorbidities. But, facts don't matter in something like this. All that matters is that we've got to spread some fear, right? Because that's exactly what they're going to be doing. They're going to be spreading fear when it comes to this H5N1. Doesn't mean that it's not going to be serious. It could be. I said that yesterday. It actually could be. So we have to prepare for that also. But we also have to prepare for just the fear-mongering, the panic of the people way back, more than 4 years ago. It was probably early on in 2020. I was talking about the COVID, and I said then that honestly it didn't even matter how serious the illness was. What really mattered is how the people and the government react to it. And so it's gonna be the same way with this. In other news, and I know that many of you are growing tired of this subject. I myself kind of am one of you. And that is the possibility of World War III starting with Russia. This has been drug on for years now. We've constantly are hitting these inflection points that it just seems like right around the corner it's going to start, and then it doesn't happen. And I get it. But it does appear that things are increasing in intensity again. Things have changed, certainly. And we need to pay attention to that. Like I've said in the last few days, recently, Biden and many other NATO countries have given Ukraine permission to take weapons that they gave them and use them to strike inside of Russian territory, which is a change. That's not been officially allowed. And now it is. And so they've already started doing that. There's reports that Ukraine has, in fact, been striking targets inside of Russia using missile systems that the United States gave them. Vladimir Putin and Russian officials have come out pretty strongly against this. They're claiming that they will be selling some of their weapons to adversarial countries of the United States. That, American targets that may be inside of Ukraine. Targets of our soldiers that are there in an advisory role will be active targets for Russia. That they've even Putin actually made some thinly veiled threats of the possibility of using nuclear weapons. So it's very much increasing over there. Yesterday, the United States released a thing to NATO, kind of a blueprint, a roadmap for Ukraine to become part of NATO. And NATO has announced that they have about 300,000 troops amassed on the border with Russia, that they're getting ready to defend Europe from Russia. So things are heating up now. Now, Russia, Vladimir Putin has said that they have no interest in striking inside of NATO. They have no interest in taking NATO or attacking NATO. And part of me wants to believe that, but then we also have to realize that same types of things were being said just before they invaded Ukraine about them not having any interest in invading Ukraine. And then in fact they did. So we have to remember that. The possibility of things heating up there are increasing. You know, it was just a couple of weeks ago that there was some Russian ships training just off the California coast out in international waters. And the United States has said that they believe that Russia will start doing some training and maneuvers down in the Caribbean, so on our other coast. It looks like the Cuban Missile Crisis might be happening soon. Who knows? Again. And things are, you know, when you look at the election, when you look at the economy, when you look at Biden and how he is so horribly failing. I mean, every time I see him, it's like he's aged many more years. The man, I think, is really, and I'm no expert on any type of geriatric issues, but the man does seem like he's really going downhill fast. And so they have to continue to distract from that. You know, at some point, are they going to slip some other guy in there to run in his place, or other woman, or a man that dresses like a woman, or who knows? I don't know. But it's apparent to me that they're trying to do as many things as they can to distract from what's really going on. And starting a war with Russia would definitely be a big distraction. You know, just the other day, Anthony Blinken said that Biden has no interest in starting World War III. He does not want to start World War III. Didn't say that he wasn't going to start World War III. Didn't say that that was not going to happen, that they were going to do everything within their powers to prevent a global war from happening. He said that he didn't want to. And in a lot of ways, for me, that was almost like a keyword veiled threat that it was going to happen. So with all these things transpiring and watching what Russia is doing, watching what Ukraine is doing, what NATO is doing, and then everything else that's going on in the world, we have to be aware of that. We have to be prepared for that. You know, we can't. Please don't allow the complacency to kick in to where it's like, oh, you know, we've been hearing about war for years now. It hasn't happened yet. It's not going to happen. I'm not saying that it will happen, but I'm saying that it's becoming more and more likely of a chance. It's like almost all of these problems are converging down into one place, which is, you know, just before the election. And you know, you look at the illegals, the pandemic, the economy, China, Taiwan, Russia, Ukraine, what's going on in Israel. Just the general breakdown of morality and decency in the United States. All of it is really pointing towards the direction of an election upheaval and, you know, just a big collapse. The Great Reset, the new normal is what they want to tell you. And you and I, we may not be able to directly affect these things. We may not be able to control them, or to, even with the power of our vote, we may not be able to fix anything. But we can fix ourselves. We can change and learn how to adapt, and learn how to grow, and learn how to be more than what we are, and more self-sufficient and stronger and more ready for what we're going to face. And that's really where we need to be putting our focus in right now, folks. Strengthening yourself in every way possible. Mentally, spiritually, I say this all the time, physically. All of those things need to be worked on. It's not just a silly little catchphrase that you get irritated at, that I say it every day. It's serious. We have to be, you know, working on our physical, whether it's your physical body, our physical capabilities, our physical things that we have prepped, mentally, psychologically, preparing for the things that we're going to see that's going to shake us to the core. You know, the things that we've seen already really are, I feel, probably very mild compared to what's coming at us. And it's going to be difficult for a lot of people mentally. We're really gonna have a hard time grasping what we're going to see and what we're going to experience. And then most importantly, spiritually. I mean, if your relationship with the Father, the Almighty Creator, is not where it should be, then by all means, you certainly should be working on that. You need to be in prayer. You need to be drawing close to Him. You know, these things were spoken of many times. Yeshua himself, Matthew 26, talked about these days that we're in, these days of Noah, and how bad it's going to be. And it's going to push us. You know, the weak are not going to make it. The weak, spiritually weak, are not going to be able to make it through all this. And so you need to make sure that you're strong in that way also. That's really the best thing that we can do. And that's going to look a little different for each of you, I get it. But when we see all of these things happening, when we see the things happening in our country, in our world, in our own neighborhoods, it looks like we're on the losing side. It looks like that our world is being diminished, and this evilness is being promoted. And in a lot of ways that is true. But we know who holds the future. We know how it ends. And we got to hold fast, stay steady in the faith, and endure to the end, because we can make it through this. We're going to experience a lot of rough stuff, folks. We gotta push through. And I know that you can, and I know it's possible. We just have to be prepared for that. And so that's one of the things that we really need to be getting ourselves ready for, is just this coming time of how bad it's going to be and how hard it's going to be for so many people. Folks, you know what you need to do. Get your houses in order and be preparing yourselves constantly for this. This is, I firmly believe that we are no longer in a stage of casual preparedness, that we're just doing it because it's comfortable, it feels good, or it makes sense, or it's fun. We need to be in a stage that we're doing this for our survival. So you need to be putting that level of effort into it by getting your houses in order every day, putting a lot of focus on it. Folks, it's that time. I know it sounds like I'm exaggerating. It sounds like it's terrifying, but we just need to be putting some serious focus on it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.